Holding open the door to Fancy Creations for Angie, he followed her inside and inhaled deeply. Holy crap, it's a diabetic's nightmare in here. Thank God he wasn't a diabetic. His mouth watered at all the delicious smells. He was definitely going to have to take some of the sweet confections home with him. A college-age woman putting a tray of goodies in a display case smiled and greeted them. Hi, what can I get you today? We have some fresh cinnamon rolls that just came out of the oven. Angie stepped over to the counter in between the display cases, which had several covered trays on top of them, filled with cookies and cupcakes. Hi, we have an appointment with Fancy about a wedding cake. Oh, sure. She'll be out in a minute. The cute blonde pointed at a few tables on the opposite side of the shop, several of which were taken by people chatting and eating pastries. You can have a seat over there. Can I bring you some coffee? That would be great. Thanks. Stepping over to the coffee machine, she glanced at Brody and got her first unobstructed view of him, her eyes growing wide as she took in his 6'2", 215 pounds of solid muscle body. His mouth moved upward into the dimpled grin which made many a woman drop to her knees in front of him, and let his Texas drawl rumble out a little stronger than usual. Thanks, darling. Milk and sugar in both. Can you all box up a dozen of those cinnamon rolls for me, too? I'll bring it back to work for everyone. When he winked at her, a blush appeared on her cheeks before she nodded and almost knocked over a tower of unused coffee cups. Following Angie over to the table, Brody sat next to her as she rolled her eyes. Leaning closer to him so she couldn't be overheard, she teased, You're such a man-whore, egghead. It's a God-given talent to make women of all ages blush. I'm damn glad he blessed me with it. Part of him was being cocky, but his friends all knew it was true. He was a natural flirt, and nothing turned him on more than when a woman blushed, as he imagined what other parts of her body would turn the same shade of pink. She laughed at him, and then her eyes shifted toward the door to the shop's kitchen. He followed her gaze, and his mouth watered once more at what he saw. The woman walking toward them was about 5'5", with curves that could knock a man's eyes out of their sockets. The fact that she was wearing an unflattering white chef's outfit did nothing to stop his appreciation of her luscious body. Her auburn hair was pulled up into a neat bun at the crown of her head, and her brilliant green eyes reminded him of the soft moss found in the forest surrounding Trident's safe house in North Carolina. In his mind, her movements slowed, and some cheesy porn music began to play. Her smile lit up the room and caused a stirring in his groin. She was only a few steps away when he realized he was staring. Giving himself a mental shake, he stood as she reached them. Hi, I'm Fancy Maguire. Her gaze was focused on Angie, who had remained seated. You must be Angie and Ian. It's so nice to meet you. Brody snorted. Not. At her startled expression, he scrambled to clarify. Sorry, this is Angie, but I'm not Ian. Glancing at a clipboard and papers she brought with her along with a photo album, she frowned. I'm sorry. Did I get that wrong when I spoke to you on the phone? Smacking Brody's hip, Angie rolled her eyes again. No, you didn't. This is our friend Brody. My fiancé, Ian, was called out of town on business, so I dragged him with me. The baker was clearly relieved with that information, if her sigh was any indication. Oh, good. Thought I'd made an error from the get-go, which isn't a way to make a good impression in this business. When Fancy extended her hand toward Brody, he took it in both of his and brought it to his lips. After kissing her knuckles, he winked at her. There is absolutely no way you could make a bad impression, darling. The name is Brody Evanss, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Narrowing her eyes a little at his boldness, Fancy tugged on her hand, attempting to remove it from his grasp while trying not to be rude. He knew if they weren't in a business setting, and he wasn't a customer, she would have no problem blurting out the words which had to be on the tip of her tongue. Awesome. He loved when he had to work a little before cozying up to a woman. It was the chase that drew him in, and made the end result that much better. And since the lovely lady didn't have a ring on her finger, she was fair game for his charm.